Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And today we have a special guest, and his name is Hendry. Hello, Hendry. Today's sharing is basically on paid advertising, but I think it's something that has been around for years or even decades. If you want to find more knowledge and info on paid advertising, I'm sure in YouTube there are tons of materials. But I think today we really want to look at how a fellow marketer who has been doing advertising for the longest time. And I think we also want to learn about insights and then also any changes in the marketing scene, as well as if we are open to running ads or we are running ads still, what sort of insights we can take away from the session. Hendry, well, maybe you can introduce yourself and then just take it away to wherever angle you want to share. Let's go.
Okay, thanks a lot, John. Let me share my screen, all right?
You introduce yourself first lah.
Yeah, my introduction is inside the deck itself.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Okay, let me share the screen. Yeah, so hi everyone. Yeah, so this one, so yesterday I was actually preparing it, right? So I was saying, what best can I do? Because you see, I'll give you some intro myself first, and I'll probably run through a little bit of the things that are happening in the paid ad space, okay? So just a little bit about me, yeah? So I actually come from an education industry many years back. I started as a poly lecturer in my first job. So after leaving the IT industry, I was in Republic Poly. So I spent 10 years there. Then I left in 2010, 2009. One interesting note. So what I'm going to focus on is what I did for education. So actually in 2011, 2012, I actually became a licensee for Cambridge tutors. So I actually took up their licensing, opened a center at JCube, which is now no longer there. If you realize right now in Jurong, right, they tear down the whole building. So I spent about 9 months building up the center, but I sold the center back to the owner because I felt that I felt there's a limit to what it can do. And yeah, so the owner was very kind because the grew so well during the first 1 2 months. He actually hired me to do sales and marketing for the entire chain. So actually during the time there were about almost 20 or 30 chains. Now it's only left 13. Yeah, the market has changed a lot. So just to give you a context, after that I went to private schools from 2009 to 2011. I was principal there. I set up the school, get them certified to bring in foreign students. They're doing very well. So I'm still a CAT board member there. So I still go there to sign papers, give some directions. And from 2013 to present, which is what John is talking about, right? Actually, I can't say pivot. Okay, maybe it's pivot. I pivoted into a digital agency. So weirdly enough, I end up doing a lot of marketing for the education sector. Not so much the tuition side, to be honest. Yeah, more for the universities and maybe bigger private schools that are doing skills future, that kind of things. So that's where I am now. So the last 12 years has been really much of it is really just really looking at it, doing ads for, running paid ads for almost everything, doing SEO, optimizing website, which is also very hot now, actually. Yeah, if those of you who have had websites. Okay. The second thing is that my CCA is that afterward, actually, because my wife actually started a center 3 years ago from scratch, as in literally no students at all, okay, even privately. As usual, scary, just put in the mind and say, hey, I took up the lease. Then I said, do you have a plan? Besides the fact that I know you can teach math. So no choice, I just had to make do with it. I created the entire website, I did everything, I did the ads. And I also found a partner, Eureka, on the side, actually our English partner. So they recently aligned their website to look like us because I think probably the intention is to really see if we can work closer together. So we actually effectively have an English and a math program. So that's how my history. And that's it. Okay, let me go on. So paid ads in 2026 is very interesting year because in 2025, I consider it the year where the paid ad strategy stopped working. So anything that is done at 2024 would not be as effective in 2026. I'm talking mainly about Google Ads because partly thanks or no thanks to AI in 2023, it jumped into the scene. What the AI did was not to say that it over ads, but because of AI, a lot of the ads engine itself, they also evolved. They also put in all these AI models in their own way. Facebook model, they train it. So they realize that, hey, I can actually help the advertisers optimize campaigns even better. So essentially, that's what happened. And for Google Ads, hey, because I have Gemini inbuilt, because they use the technology to evolve their ad system. And that is why last year, a lot of new changes in the marketplace.
Yeah, for those who are not very sure what it's actually Facebook. Yeah, they changed their name for those who are very new to the market advertising scene. Yeah, I think right now it's really, many things are AI supported. Even when we go to Google and search for something, you will get us to the AI chat with Gemini. So nowadays, everything is AI decided. Yeah, I'm not sure whether next time our life will be AI driven as well.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of time to me. Yeah, just to add on, I'm actually in the agency itself. Actually, I take care of AI strategy. So I have a little team that works purely on AI stuff with me inside. Of course, I don't have a lot of time, but I do as much as I can. Even beyond paid ads, I do quite a fair bit of stuff as well. Yeah. Okay.
We can talk more for another topic.
Yeah, this is an even bigger topic than this.
The one about you.
To me, paid ads has gotten simpler, but also more complicated. I explain. So Google Ads, right? Some of you will run Google Ads. Of course, you can see this. I put a sample that I say primary science tuition Pongo, right? So you can see that the sponsored ads, right, are the ones that you will buy ads, correct? I'm very sure she does paid ads because if she's running at a certain scale, definitely she will need, probably she will have the budget and she will have, maybe she will definitely need to get someone to run the ads for her. I don't think she can run it herself. And partly because when I look at the ad, I know it's run by an agency. So interesting enough, in most cases, if I see a ad, right, I probably can tell whether it's a freelancer agency. But some freelancers are very good. So because they are very dedicated and some of them are run by the owners themselves. So this has become very.
Can you share? Sorry, your sound is breaking.
It's not okay.
So your sound is breaking. Yeah, I think the connection may not be very strong. Just one thing, can you share like how can you fish out the difference from a single glance that this is advertising agency versus freelancer?
It's just the way ads are being set up. So some of the ads, right, they don't have features that you see. They put here highly trained MOEters, contact us, 80% scored L1 to 3 in PSLE. So definitely they are using, basically the agency, part of their work is to use as much of the, I call it conversion features, because there's a lazy way to launch ads and there's also a detailed way. So a lot of the quality comes with how much you leverage on the features that the ad system gave you to make it more enticing. I'm very sure that in case you're wondering here, on the left side I mentioned, it's probably between $2 to $3 depending on the terms that you're targeting, and up to $10 for maybe very niche term that is very highly contested. It's all based on the auction process. You can of course think about location targeting like this, like if you say you have a center somewhere, let's say, and you just want to market there, it's perfectly viable because you'll be able to come to your center. And unless your center has a certain appeal that addresses a problem that is either why people travel all the way there, then quite a fair bit of time, you'll find that most of the students will be not that far away. Okay. This is why I can share about Google Ads. If you have any questions, you can ask, because Google Ads is a higher budget kind of game. Let me give you a sense. The agency has clients, right? I have a pet cremation site. She runs a pet cremation center. It's also very competitive on Google Ads. The ad budget is typically at least 8,000 to 9,000 a month, right? Just for one channel. And I have known actually JC in the past. I actually met someone running JC tuition centers, purely JC. The 5 every month.
Okay, it's 5 digits every month. That means more than 10K. It's actually a skill that we are doing for my own business.
Possibly, yeah, probably. Yeah. So it's very easy to reach that, yeah. But that is definitely still viable and it's still something, because in Google Ads, people usually nowadays, if they search for something, hey, I need a tuition, usually a certain generation, they'll still Google it. And even with the AI overviews, all those AI features, but ultimately they would still likely end up in the website or a page which sells your service. So it's still important. That's why you see businesses distinct here, very important as well. Yeah, curating it, right? Especially the feedback you have and all these things. I think it's just part of it. Because there's so many. Just take a look at the map here. You see how many are there? Even just one small area, right? In Singapore, there's probably about 1,000, right? But this is just one small area. Okay, next, I'll talk about Meta. Okay, Meta has changed because last year they launched this thing called, some of you may have heard, it's called Andromeda. So it's just a sexy name, right? It's a bit complex, but in simple forms, they put AI into their ads delivery system. The most important point is on the left side of the screen. Basically, targeting is not as important in Meta now. It used to be running pre-2024, or quite important. So now instead, what you need is something called creative diversity. Basically, your visual, which is what you have to add, your ad copy and offer needs to be as different as possible. And there's a specific way of running it now, which is working for the agency. So all my clients, right, in the entire agency, right, uses the same strategy now. Okay. And we switched totally somewhere last year. Okay. So the client itself in the agency, just for context, they can have very low budget as well. Okay. Not every client has very high budget for Meta. Some can have a daily budget of $30 to $200, $300 in Singapore. So of course, we do some marketing for education in US and all those. Of course, they run on a slightly different budget. So this is just to give you some idea. So right now, if you were to run ads, right, this is just one picture. So generally speaking, in the past, right, you will run a campaign and you have different assets to do things. Prospecting means you are trying to get new people. That means people who don't know you. And then there's maybe you run some tests or some creative. So all these ads are your creatives. Okay, basically all the copy, the visuals, the picture, as well as the ad copy, what you write, and maybe the offer. Maybe one of it you can have your free trial. The other one you have your something else, your holiday class, or something plus. And then, but now, increasingly, right, your campaign just needs to have one broad, good targeting. And because Meta is able to find the audience for you based on their Andromeda, right? So you can actually lump all the things that you have, right, into one ad set and throw all the ads. So essentially, this is what is happening now for all the campaigns. And you will find that some ads will do better, some ads will do not as well. as usual. So the other part, this part I won't cover it because this process of optimization is too deep. There's too much things to talk about. But in essence, that's why I said that setting up campaign is actually not so difficult now. But actually doing creative is actually very challenging because you need to have enough offers, you need to do enough creatives, and even with AI, it still takes effort. Okay, so it actually shifts the effort right from running the ads to actually doing creative, talking and thinking about your offer, what you're trying to market, and how you're going to present it, and your ad copy, which can be done with AI. Okay, so this is what I can share here.
I have one quick question. Just now, can we just revisit? You mentioned that for your clients, your strategy that you're focusing on is the creative side.
Yes, correct. So it has the creative, that means you need to generate more creatives for your campaign and let the algorithm, right, you'll find the audience for you. And some of the creative will just resonate better. And I give you an example. You can have one creative, right? Let's say you're trying to market a seminar, you can have one that talks to maybe a certain demographic and the other one talks to another demographic itself. But same thing, that means same offer, you're just offering the same webinar, visual and you put them all into one campaign. Essentially, that's what it is. I give you an example. This one is from our agency clients. Yeah, never mind, it's okay. It's already over. So I give you an example. We actually market BYD cars. Okay. I use this because this one has enough scale, because it runs quite aggressively. So you can tell, right? This is just Christmas period. The ads that you see here, right, actually all belong into one campaign. So you realize that actually they have a Christmas, they have business for they have university open campaign. And you look at the objective is to get messaging conversations, then people messaging them directly. So you can tell that based on just running this way, that you may expect certain campaigns to do a lot better. But in this case, you have one that is very cheap and the cost of messaging is very low. The cost per result, if you look at this, it's actually very low for what their standard. And some of it is very high, not so great. Ideally, you can either stop it or you can keep it running if it's still generating conversions. But of course, if cost per result is too high, then it's something that you want to take care of. Yeah, probably you have to pause this later, unless the reason that you want it there. And sometimes Meta ads now will automatically scale down the ads being shown just because it's not effective. That's how it works now. So it can literally die after a few days if you just leave it running. If you launch a few, right, and you actually keep it testing, but suddenly you realize, hey, one Friday you wake up, a few days later you realize that thing is not running already, not showing much, like not showing up, Meta is not showing it to many people every day. Yeah, that's a sign that actually they have actually scaled it down automatically. All right, so this is it. So this is another example just to show you that this is what I mean by creative diversity. That means you talk different things and you realize that the offer is different, the creative is different, the ad copy is different. So this is what I mean by diversity. That means just the word, what it says, just a lot of variety. Okay, so that is what I can share. I give you an example from a very small campaign that I ran for the center, like for my wife. You can tell, right, it's not low, the cost per result, partly because my wife doesn't do webinar, doesn't do all those things, because I can tell you that certain offers, right, would definitely be a lower cost per result. But because we're only doing trial, and our trial is not even paid, and we never say free trial even, yeah, because it's a paid trial. Because I also I personally, my wife don't like, and I don't like my wife to do free trial, basically. So this is the reason why we run it. And you realize that like a recovery program, this is late last year. So it got much better. And out of this 13, right, we don't really need to do so much, right? Our ad budget is so little, and I mean little by what I think. And we just, out of these 13, we probably got about 1, 2, 3, 4. Most of them come from the holiday classes, and probably 3 or 4 of them end as our long-term students. I think of the metrics like this. So it's definitely worth it. That's all I can say. It's definitely 100% worth it because the closing rate is high. In case you're wondering why is it high, because I'm the one actually talking to the parent. So I actually act part-time as the one that is like talking to parents and trying to arrange for all these things wherever I can. So yeah, that's my CCA job during the weekends. Okay, and I think, so this is a webinar, right? So you see in the past, right? So in the past, it's a lot easier to run ads. In the past, right, this is what Eureka, so running for the English program, just launching even a decent, like in the past, across the island and running with 1,000 is really not a lot in Meta, but it's sufficient. So then it's enough to get this amount of leads. And if your follow-up is very good, I'm very sure you can definitely get a percentage of closing out of this. So it's more than makes up for the what is this already. And if you don't do free trial, your paid trial might even be able to cover the amount that you spend for your ads. That's the ideal. Yeah. So you have an offer that has a payment mechanics that sort of cover your cost per acquisition. And that's it. I think that's all I have actually. Oh, there's one more thing. This is something extra. Because I talked about creative diversity, right? Let's say this is probably my last slide. You need a lot of ads. I would suggest, especially if you are doing it yourself, please use your AI workflow to actually produce it, so that when I say workflow, it just means that you just have a system of working through it and launching it. So for me, this is what I do personally, because I run the ads myself. I don't even get the agency to run it. I personally just run it because I just want to also know what's happening. So I use Claude for copywriting. Just make sure it's trained on your tone, preferences, website content. You can ask it to generate visual prompt. Then you use Google Nano Banana to create a visual or the background, or use Nano Banana to use your own picture and ask it to do something to create a nice background. And then you can do some quick animation. If you have time and you're interested, I can share one hack that I always do now. And you can lay out in Canva. If let's say you have the word, so you can have the background, you can lay out in Canva, which is what I think is very common for many people who are running it on a small team or individually. Of course, my team use Adobe products, but that is different, right? So they also use Canva as well. To be honest, some clients we actually use a bit for them as well. It actually served the need quite well now. And I think that's it. All right. So I'm open for questions. Okay, John?
Yeah. Okay, quick one. Before we go to the Q&A, then you can skim through your questions. The is in German, am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to point them to the right platform now, because they'll be wondering, like, where is it?
Yeah, so the little banana is over here. Let me show you. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can just cover a bit on the platform of
so
Gemini,
you see
video, animation, as well as Canva. Can we just use free version of Canva?
Okay, let me see. Let me show you what it does. What I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to go to...
Then later we can do 10 minutes of Q&A.
Okay, let me show you this. All right. So this is my advantage. They do English. So you just look at this picture. Okay, this is picture. This is a brand new website. In fact, I just launched it for them a few weeks ago. So this picture itself doesn't exist because they never took a picture together. So this is what I can do. You can take your thing. Let me go to Gemini. Okay, this is Google. So what I did here, let me try to make it bigger. I use a subscribe account, to be fair, but I think they do have free credits as well. So you can usually log in and use it. Canva, I have a basic paid account because I have too many things there. I launch a lot of the center ads there. So I definitely need a paid account. And I actually have someone to help me to do some brochure as well. Outsourced, basically someone based not in Singapore. And so you can see that there are 3 pictures. These 3 are the teachers. So you can actually do a group photo and make it there. But then they say, I don't like the context because their classroom doesn't look like this. So what I can do is they say, hey, this is a real classroom. Their classroom, okay? This is their center. So can we like do something with that context with the table? So it came out with something like that. But then it still feels a bit odd because you don't have a full glass, right? So I say, no, I'm trying to make it more realistic so people more believable. So I say, put a wall here. So that you see this picture? Yeah, you see the wall here? So I'm trying to say, hey, it's half height. It's not full. So I just say, and then, let's say, okay, that's a bit far and a bit this and that. So I got it. So ultimately, I got it to here because I'm lazy, right? I just wanted something I can download and then put it on the website. So this is how the entire thing is done. So it's so amazing now that you can actually, you look at the angle, it's not even correct, but it knows how to change the angle of the teacher to lay out properly. Yeah. So you need to understand that Gemini is extremely powerful for images. It's the king of it now. So there's no doubt about it. They are way ahead of their static image generation. You can use it to generate background images for your ads, okay, which is very useful. Yeah, you can do a lot for if you have a website, you do something for your website, or you do posters. It's great at posters as well. Infographic is also very good. Yeah. So I don't know whether I have an infographic here. There's so much things here. But
I actually use Notebook LM for students, which I thought is really amazing as well.
Notebook LM is also great. I can show you a lot now. It's very good for doing a lot of things. Yeah. So that's how you can do. Any questions? I think, John, that's
what about animation? Do you use animation for creatives? Okay, when we say creative, it means the images of the ads. Yeah, that's it.
Yes. So my animation is a very cheap hack. You're interested?
Sure.
Cheap hack is use Grok Imagine. I show you here.
Yeah.
I think
animation is which platform again?
Wait, here. You see here.
It's still under Gemini.
No, it's not. It's under Grok. So go to
Grok. Okay.
Okay, I'm just trying to load it in properly. Okay, this is Grok, right? So if you go in, the amazing thing is that this whole thing is like free at the moment. So there's no credit. So you can go to Grok Imagine. There's a left side here. Go to Grok Imagine. So you can see a lot, right? What you do, you just basically throw in that image that you have, okay? You throw in, like just now, I have an example of that image just now, like this one. Okay, let me see. So these are all the things it can do just by throwing. So let me go straight to this. So this one, right, I wanted it to just have it made to wave to the camera. So this is, and it's done within 1 minute or 30 seconds. That's why it's very useful. And if you want to change it, right, you have a prompt here. You can say, you can somewhat direct the action. Okay, so you'll come up with some default action. Then it may not be what you want. Then you can do that. So I find it very useful. If let's say your ad is very static, right? You want to have a little bit of movement to catch attention. And you want, let's say it's your own picture of doing something. thing. I give you an example of what I did for the math one. So you look at this. So this is that's my wife. So I wanted to put it as a backdrop of something running. So I don't want static, I want something moving. And that's what you can do, just like that. And you put this, you download it, you convert it to HD. So there's an option here that says, I think, oh, now they can put 10 seconds. Amazing. Oh, even better. Oh, John, this is new. We haven't seen it. So now we can do language. Yeah, 10 seconds. So which is very long for free too. Yeah.
Got it.
But I think you need to pay. So they have a 7 days. So as I expected, sooner or later, the longer one, they only people to pay. And then they have resolution. So last time they used to have HD, but I think maybe they have made it payable, which is a bummer. Okay, so unfortunately, okay, this is not so great because in the past, you can they allow you to make it into a HD form so that when it looks good when you put out as inside Meta itself. But now you might have to pay. I need to test it. So anyway, so this is an example of a tool that you can use.
Can you a bit on Canva? Okay, because if you Google German and can set your static image and then group the animation part, then where does Canva comes in?
Comes in because I show you my Canva account.
Then after that, you'll do Q&A for 10 minutes, okay?
No, this is very fast. So Canva is like that. I'll give you an example. Okay, see my Canva. So this is Canva, yeah. So there's under design. There's all the design. This is typical Canva. So for example, I use it for layout. So basically, I'll take the video, I'll put it as a background, and I will create a creative of it. So that, of course, Canva itself have its own animation, right? So in this case, let's say I run it. So can you see that it's an ad, but with the teacher teaching at the background? So this is example of variation that I use. Yeah. So this is one. So I have a lot. So basically, because I did so many of it in the past. So essentially, the workflow is very simple. Get static. If you want to animate, animate. If you can't or don't want, fine. Okay. And then it still works. Doesn't mean that you must animate. If your offer is good and it's interesting and you are established, you will be fine. And then, yeah, just use Canva to lay out the words, basically. Because Gemini can do words very well now. The AI can do words now, but sometimes it's easy. It's not as easy to prompt everything into and let them do. It's still a bit easier to do a little bit of your own layout if you want to. So that kind of control is useful. All right.
Can you show us a Canva video ad that you did? Because you say that you added a video into Canva and then you load it out with a background.
Okay. Yeah. So for example, there are many. You can tell that you see all of these are ads in square format a lot. So within one file itself or one inside, right? I run a few. Like for example, this is a head start program, right? So you can see the kids, right? So this is actually generated using the same workflow, using Claude, give ideas. You like the idea, bring to Gemini, execute the idea. You like the output, bring to some animation tool if you want to, and then you use it, you upload it here. You can go to the left here. There's an upload here. So you can upload stuff. And then from the upload, you just pull it inside here. See, this is a video, right? You see, this is a video by itself. And then you lay out your static on it if you want to. You understand now? So that is actually a very simple workflow that works for almost everyone.
Okay.
Yes, correct. This part is right.
The rest, the purple part will be the static.
Yes. If inside, because AI is an animation, you can also animate some of these words. You can change the color, the size. But because I find that AI is still not so good, like maybe that they will get better and in generating video. The truth is that they also have AI. They also can generate things. But because I know Nano Banana is best for it, so I will always default to the Banana for, as of now, to generate visuals. That's all. It's just a personal preference. Everyone has AI. Everyone is trying to get into some piece of the AI game.
Got it.
Yeah.
Then when you save the file, the whole thing is a video file.
So when you come here, let's say you come over here, let's say you can download the MP4 video. So just go to your current page, this one, right? And then you download, and you will download as MP4. This MP can be uploaded straight into Meta. There are certain formats. Some of them, they prefer vertical. So then you may have to relay out. So for example, I don't know whether I have a relay out here. Let me check. Maybe I don't have. Maybe this one. Oh, yeah, this is Instagram. So do you see that this is the vertical format? You need to do the same process, but maybe go and select the right format, the dimensions that's needed and do. So this is a one-man show. Okay, job. Okay, please don't tell my agency team. Okay, they will frown at it. It's very unpro.
Yeah, I think I did that part of yours. Okay, let's spend the next 10 minutes on a Q&A. I know that there are many questions. Of course, Hendry, within his capacity, he will try his best to answer, and he will decide how much to share because it's still his rival. Nonetheless, we have to respect his boundaries. He's really very nice to come in and to share his entire workflow. Yes, if you got value out of what he's sharing.
I hope you all learned something interesting.
If you learn a lot of things, right, like mind blown by the amount of stuff that he shared, that possibly we can only learn it from paid workshops. Yeah, put a big fat yes. In the meantime, Hendry can take a look at the questions, and then we will go from the first to the last one as timestamp will be 1:50. for it. Okay.
Okay, Ken, no problem. Let me look at the question first. So those types of, right? So showcasing result improvement and typical ad design will have lower reach by CPL. Okay, Colin, my suggestion is that because I mentioned about the ad diversity, right? You definitely need to try both. Okay, I can share with you. Okay, because it's your preference, right? Because there are people who don't show results. Right? I actually have my wife doesn't like, even though she has results, but she doesn't like to because she thinks that it's always circumstantial to that student after working on it. But there's nothing wrong with it as well, personally me, because if you've done good work, you just shout out a little bit. Yeah, have you tested it? If you tested it, then you can tell whether it's doing better. You can launch it within, you can ask your freelancer or undergrad to launch it together. Test it out. You must test it out. Okay, you must test out 2 or 3 and test it out. One maybe on result, one talking about something else, maybe one talking about yourself, or one talking about something that is related to parents or kids directly. By the way, Colin, is she doing primary, secondary, what subject?
Primary science mainly, but also as doing school science.
Okay, science. Okay, great.
Yeah, okay. I think advertising is an entire monster to manage. Yeah, it's like a very big pet monster. When you first bought it, you have to understand it, and it's about testing. And to test, you need budget, you need finance, you need cash. Ultimately, you'll be able to see what works for you. And as much as another science tutor who's doing the same thing as yours, maybe for her result-based creative work, but maybe for you, because of your X factor, which is different, all of us have different X factor, maybe I don't know, like maybe stories work. So you have to find out what works for you. Okay, that's the journey. Okay, back to you, Hendry.
Okay, it has to do with the budget. If she has a lot of budget, of course, she can spend more and then she can have more variety. But if let's say your budget is tight, right, then of course, don't need to do so many variations. Okay, my benchmark is if you can launch a campaign, try to do it with 2 or 3 creative, at least 2.
Something to compare.
Yeah, so David said, can share about what do you change the recovery ad? Recovery ad is, I would consider, it's an offer. So it's a very specific offer to help people, to help the kids sort of like recover a bit from, let's say, a poor result. So it's an angle, okay? It's a marketing angle. So I would say that it's because I know it's after the end of the year exam, right? So certain offers will just, I already know it will work better because I run it 3 years, okay? So I actually, in my mind, because I run centers, I run all this, right? So I have a certain calendar in running my head, like Q1, what kind of things I should do, Q2, what's happening. And it's all based on what I think the parents are thinking about because one is primary school, right? So what is happening? And usually that's how marketing is. The best ads, right? If you want to run ads, always, I call it contextual. Contextual means contextual to what is happening right now. For example, give you an example. If PSL is coming, something along the line for English, you will do oral, okay? Prep. Or you do more exam. I don't know whether more exam is still a thing. It used to be a thing, that big thing. But MOE is always changing the system, so we shall see. See, how much budget should I set aside for meta ads? Actually, this is a tricky question because it depends on your... Okay, this is a lot of questions there. I'll try to answer as much. I'll definitely answer it.
Yeah, we can cover the breadth so we can, because you ask many questions, we will move on.
Meta ads, 1,000 a month for one thing that you're trying to market. Okay, if you think about it, it's $20 to $30 a day. Okay, for one thing, minimum. To me, that's okay. But it depends on what you're trying to market. If you're trying to market a special webinar, I think it's okay to spend more in a short span of time. But I think John, I think, does that right as well. It depends. So that's why I say it's not so straightforward an answer. Agency, I think, right, let's say if you have a lot of budget, I think you should only consider agency like us, like that. Let's say you have 8,000 of marketing budget a month, okay, be realistic, okay, or 7,000 running paid ads, or 6,000, then it will, because the agency cover everything, we have to do the thing. So the agency fee could range from at least 1,000 a month to 1,000 plus, depending on complexity. E-commerce, a lot higher, but I think service business like that depends. So it's a bit disrupted now, the market. I would say that actually the cost has maybe gone down a bit, and there's a lot of people running ads or able to run ads. So I would say that, yeah, if you can look at Colleen, right, if let's say she has someone that is reliable, they can run decent results, I think a freelancer is fine, personally speaking. If I were to come out with my marketing agency, I might look for someone like that as well. But of course, I have certain standards.
Maybe I can trim in 1 or 2 input while you take on the second and third question. Try your best to compound them if you can, because I'm looking at we could end by 12. Okay, quick one. The budget wise, it really depends on you. But let's say if market standard $30 for CPA, cost per acquisition, and you've got 10 people, 10 to fill in, you'll be back to math. About at least a 300 of ad spend. Yeah. But let's say if you have a lot of budget and you know that for every $1 that you spend, you get $2 back. The logical thing is to spend as much as you can because it's 200% ROI. Yeah. Agency fees are 1 to 1.5 is the minimum now. There are premium agencies that only help multiple chain owners charging between 3 to 5K a month only on service plus probably revenue share as well. Yeah. So there are many models out there. And I agree with Hendry. If you're starting small, right, explore what Colleen is doing, go and have a call with her and engage with. It works out for us as well. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Hendry, back to you.
Okay, a quick one. point 6, same again. Regarding lead form, do you hook out automation? Yes, I do have automation, but I still believe in very fast response, personalized. That's why my closing rate is high. And you can look at automation for sure. You can always look at some AI chatbot or something, direct them straight to WhatsApp, and then WhatsApp will say something. In today's context, perfectly achievable. All right. Budget per month, I think is already about 500. Then definitely you must do Meta. Okay, why Meta? Because Meta is a mix of doing lead gen as well as awareness. You understand? So basically, because it fulfills your purpose. Google Ads is a bit different because it's about intention. People look for attention. But if right, you do reach out to people who maybe not ready, and you use it to do a bit of branding awareness about yourself. Because your visuals, you have people can see, people can read, people can feel a bit more. That's why it has a dual purpose. So 500 budget definitely Meta, without a doubt. Based on your experience, what kind of Meta should we do to attract more people? You have to test.
Yeah.
But in general, if you do free thing, yeah, of course you freebie seekers are. What should I say? So I might do paid, you expect. So that's why maybe I can share that the only reason I stopped running ads like just recently is because I have no time to handle the little price even that come in, because I service them. But if I service, I also hope that they would sign up. And I know once they sign up for 1 year, 2 year, so it's no doubt about it. So that's why to me, the ROI is not a problem. Even for 1K budget or 600 to 1K budget, I can run it the whole year. It should be fine. Yeah. But I think the tiring part is to always innovate doing the creatives. That one takes a bit of discipline, which I sometimes don't have the time, admittedly, because I have my own agency to run. Yes, vertical format, like beyond vertical is for actually for stories and reels or along that line. Yeah, certain, I think in Instagram, there's a vertical. Yeah. So vertical is, I think they use it more. But Meta will prompt you one. That one, don't worry. That one, I think don't have to worry about it. Okay.
I want to touch on one thing about reels. You have to explore. We actually changed static ad to video reels that I put on TikTok, and I just edit a bit for Facebook creative. Cost per acquisition of the ad drop by half. I should have done it long time ago, man.
Yeah, that's why I said sometimes you need to sometimes it's not so much you need to always try to thing. You just have to change a bit of the thing, and you find that surprise, hey, actually the thing will drop because the platform is responding to certain things. And the static versus videos, right, they will react differently and perceive it differently. As in, I'm talking about the platform. But if I can say something, keep nimble. Every quarter, actually, things change, or every half year. AI especially. I'm now everything into a lot of automation stuff, a lot of things, but maybe a website related, SEO related stuff as well. Yeah, because what's the next game, right? The next game for bigger center is to make sure they get cited within the AI platform. People search for, hey, you know what, tuition center is good, all right? Your center should be cited within ChatGPT. That is the game now for SEO. It is an important game, but maybe for certain players who has a site and who's running center, I would say it's quite useful. And yeah, but by the way, John, I never mentioned this, but I'm actually designing a course it's just a general marketing course or digital marketing with Singapore Media Academy. It's still in the process. It is actually AI marketing, right? It's basically marketing X AI. So it's about 3 days. So maybe when the time comes out, if it's get approved by the government, then maybe something good for people who has a lot of skills future credit to consider.
The one will be your course.
Yeah, I'm the trainer.
But let me know lah.
Yeah, because the one, because some programs is like you teach because some people develop content, but this one different. This one I personally create every single thing. I crafted the entire thing to cover everything as much as I can within 3 days. Yeah, crazy, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have last 3 questions. You want to just cover them briefly, and then we will end it.
AI tool that generate good video content. There is actually, if you are talking about longer ones.
So Grow and Imagine is one platform or 2 platforms?
One. Grow and Imagine, Imagine is one platform. That one is for short clips. But if you want to do a longer video, right, you can piece together in Canva probably some short clips, and then you can just run it across. You know what I mean? So basically, you can throw a few inside, right? You can actually generate a simple clip.
Mid-Journey.
Yeah, Mid-Journey is fine. The truth is that the Gemini is very good, the VO3, but it's expensive. You need a subscription. For video generation, in terms of fidelity, right, the king is still the Google VO3 model, which you see sometimes on Facebook, a lot of people post, your friends may be posting because they go there and then just prompt something out, and it looks pretty good. Yeah, I see a lot. So it is really good. The tip is that actually some Chinese models are actually very good as well and cheaper. China ones, I think in Singapore, work for China, I can tell you which one. Maybe you can look at Dream. Yeah, Dreamina is one of them, quite good. There is a Meteor is quite crazy. Meteor, right? Meteor actually can use a generate entire sequence out for you with a story. If you are lazy, right, you can just let it do everything by itself. It's good for product placement. So you can take an iPhone, right? Say, hey, I want to promote this, but I want it in an angle. You need to show this. You can do some instruction. You just do an entire 30-second thing for you with different transition, everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, for my books.
Yeah, so some of it is it. Let me think. I
And all
don't
these
do-
are subscription based.
Yes, some of them give some free credit. So if you are cheapskate, you can use a few Google account and try to do it lah. Don't try to log in. But I would suggest if you actually want to do something, then you probably have to do a bit of subscription. I'll give you an example. The agency uses a Google trial account. So for my creative, because we sometimes need to create creatives, we actually have a Crop Max account as well. So just because one, two of them really need it.
Yeah.
The context.
Okay.
Yeah. YouTube, no, I don't do.
Questions.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, recovery just basically is an angle that says that, hey, the results are weak. Do you need to recover?
Oh.
Okay. So I use a specific term called recovery because if you're a little bit unwell, you need to recover, right? But it's just, okay, this is just something about ads. Because I'm a marketer, right? I try to sometimes have terms a little bit different. But every day I see so many ads. I feel I see until like overwhelmed by it, right? Yeah, so I see everybody ads as well. I see tons of
I
it.
can see
Yeah, I know. But it's fine. My ads has a certain format all the time because I have some belief in subliminal messaging. That means somehow people need to see the brand over and over again. So I don't mind using somewhat the same format, but change as much as I can because you still need to be diverse, but retain enough branding look. So people know that, oh, this one is this. Yes, they don't care, but it's fine. I just want to make sure that there is a certain, also somewhat identity to it. That's all. Personally speaking, it could be much better. If you ask me if I were to run my own center with my own ads, I would definitely do it a bit different. But my wife said, John knows my limitations. I have constraints. I have guidelines.
I think ultimately the lesson here is to really understand who you are, what works for you, open our eyes really big to see what's working, and then also be open to constant change. For example, for me, I've been running ads for 20 years. I'm still learning how the scene has evolved, what's working for me right now, and to put my ego aside to just kill ads that are not working, even though they are winners past. Yeah.
That's the last question. Usually when the performance dip, then you change the ad. So if your performance, you find that, hey, it's delivering good results, cost per result is good, per lead or whatever, then you scale up. You try, if you have the bandwidth, you just, but I can tell you the bandwidth is usually whether you can handle the inquiries. Because if you can handle, then also waste money. Because I actually encountered it before. I see the leads until I so busy with other things. It's actually quite a waste. So that's the only thing to it. Your limitation is yourself, unless you're a dedicated salesperson.
Yeah, which is why I think quick one. In the past, I used to run ads. We always want to look at the winning ads, right? But when the winning ads really perform, you will have another problem, which is follow up.
Yes.
I can sit there a whole day and call you on the phone for 5 days a week, like within 4 hours, non-stop of calling.
Yeah, it's a full-time job, man. If you really want to do very well this sales and servicing, it is not. So I'm actually toying with training out outsourcer to actually do this, but it'll take time.
Yeah. So I think the funnel is very important. Instead of one-to-one close, do a mass close, and then there's webinar. So instead of you have to follow up with every lead that comes in, get them to sign up for a webinar, and then let's say you do a webinar once every 2 weeks. Let the webinar be a mass follow-up, and then follow them down to a workshop or maybe 2 paid trials. Give them like only 2 fixed dates to come for trial and only 3 seats probably. So that everything is systemized. And the reason is because when we have limited resources, we need to explore ways that are creative, that works in our favor. Yeah. My suggestion is to every one of us here, we can go slow. Set a budget that brings in leads that you can follow up. Otherwise, it's just throwing money down the drain, which happens to many of us.
Yeah. So I paused this month. I was probably restart the ad after Chinese New Year or during Chinese New Year or one day after 2, maybe not because people distracted. Yeah, this is the kind of thing you need to think like a marketer. You think whether people, what they're thinking about at the point of time. If they're too distracted, then I don't want. Sometimes people see it as opportunity, but sometimes people are just distracted and they're not ready to buy certain things at certain months. But it doesn't mean you cannot market.
All right. I think there's lots of things to talk about. Let's end. All right. Can we show some appreciation to Hendry, who has volunteered to come and share? Yeah, he's definitely a giver. Yeah, we've been friends for 10 years already, or even 20 years, man.